Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Monday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, and I welcome you to this live. For those of you who are Persian or celebrate the new year, maybe Afghan or what have you, happy Nowruz, happy Persian New Year's. And I had a good time with myself today. Right at the time when the New Year's happened, I was at my table like I showed it last night. PK Live. Yes, I see you now. Thank you. So I was at my table. I said my prayers, and it was good. It was really good. I did just let some emotions out, if you would, and it was a good time. So we are here now. Let's talk about tonight's message. You guys know I'm a big fan of stories, and my message has always been stories are meant to be shared, not stored. Jenny, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. So stories are meant to be shared, not stored. That's been my thing all along. Now, you can tell your story in several different ways, right? You can, and we can do a whole like dive deep into this concept. But T Money, what? Todd, P Money, everybody is in the house. So we can dig into that. We can dive deep, but there's really two categories when it really falls into. You can tell the story that you have been through, what you've gone through, what you've accomplished in life, and here you are. Now, here's the thing: you can tell the story to others, and you can tell the story to yourself. Brad, B Money, the gang is here. Good to see you guys. So there's really two audiences, right? You tell the story to others and you tell that story to yourself. So you got like two audiences, but I'm not talking about the audiences. I think I may have done a live on that before, but I'm talking about the way you tell the story. The way you tell the story to others and the way you tell the story to yourself. The story being what you have overcome, what you have been through, and now you're here, right? So there's two ways you can tell the story. One way is what's called, well, one way is if you keep telling a victim story, like all the stuff that has happened to you, you feel powerless, you feel like a victim, you feel like everybody is blame too, you got to blame everybody else, and it just you're just a victim. Everything happens to you, right? That's called the contamination way of telling a story, contamination story, by what's called the narrative identity concept. So the contamination way to tell a story is, it's like what it sounds. It's like all the struggles happen to you. Everybody else is to blame. None of it was your fault. Nothing to learn. Why does this always happen to you? Why do I always get this kind of stuff? Why do I get this kind of customers, these prospects, right? So you can tell the contamination story all day, every day. And we probably do. Jenny, thank you for the stars. Thank you. So you can tell that story all along. I mean, in fact, most of us have probably been telling that story, maybe even today we told kind of a contamination story. Right? And then there's another way you can tell this story, and it's called the redemptive way of telling a story, redemptive story, right? And that's all filled, it's the same story. Hey, it's your story. I didn't go back and change things. It's your story, it's the same thing. You just choose to tell it differently. So in redemptive way, you're talking about growth. You're talking about hope. You're talking about, man, I went through that breakup. I came out. I got crushed. I got hurt. I went through that bankruptcy. I got this. I got that. I went through that hell. And everything is part of growth. I learned so much from that. That experience, the knowledge that came with it, I wouldn't switch it for the world. I came out a better person out of that. And I look forward to the future, because my story is not going to end here. You see how I'm telling that same story? It's the same story. I haven't changed the story. It's your story, right? It's my story. It's your story. Like I could sit here and say, you know what? I've had 38 jobs, and man, employers suck, because I don't know why they keep getting rid of me. I mean, I'd just be in one job. I mean, I could tell that story, but that's not the truth. I've only got fired, I believe, twice out of 38 jobs. The rest I've left. Or they got shut down by the feds. That's a whole other story. But I shared those. I have actually shared that story. But so it's the same story. Like I haven't changed the story. I can't plug a lie into it now, right? It's the same story. So I can tell it in a way that it's a contamination story. It's one that just like everybody's to blame, and just I'm nagging, I'm complaining, I'm blaming. There's like no grace into it. There's no gratitude into it. There's nothing in there. Just blame and complain. Remember that, B and C, blaming and complaining, right? And the other one is I could tell a redemptive story where I can say, hey, you know what? I understand. Like Ray Higdon says at best, this is like his first motto, if you would: help the person you used to be. Help the person you used to be. How amazing is that? You used to be a bunch of crap, right? I know I was. So I could take those and say, okay, well, those happened for me instead of to me. They happened for me, so that now when I speak to people, some of those people that have these that I've been through, I can relate to. I can help those people. Why? Because I have been there, right? We all have been. I'm still a mess. Talk to some of my exes, they'll tell you. Right? So it's the way you tell the story. The message is in the mess. The mess contains the message. That's like the whole thing. That's where it all is. You gotta just. I used to when I used to do training for mortgage companies. I used to say, you know what? You gotta get in there, get dirty, and just kind of dig through their mess and find out what's going on here. Got to find out what's the real reason why you want to do this, right? So the message is that there's the mess contains the message. So the messier it has been, it could be on the other side, it could be more powerful, right? So hey, you can tell the same story, or you can just not tell the story. And remember, I always say, stories are meant to be shared, not stored. Why would you want to store your story? Like some of these stories, like I did a live the other day. I remember I did it with the notebook, right? That you're given at birth. I mean, all these stories, people, hey, listen, not everybody wants to hear them. Let me tell you, not everybody wants to hear every story, whether it's contamination or redemptive. Not everybody wants to hear it, but there are some who want to hear it. I mean, there are some. It's not like nobody on the planet Earth wants to hear it. So there's somebody who wants to hear it, and it's the way you tell that story to them, and remember, to yourself. Because before you have an audience outside of you, you're your number one audience. You're the speaker, and you're the audience for you at first. So keep that in mind when you tell that story, that same story to yourself. Meaning, if you tell a contamination story to yourself all day, it's the same thing as telling it to somebody else, right? So hopefully you guys get some love, some inspiration, some value from this. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. And yeah, some of you, I actually know some of your stories. And I'm looking forward to getting some new stories. Remember, I'm bringing back Thursdays with Sean. I'm collecting guests before I go on live. I want to have at least 5 before I go on, so I have 5 weeks in advance. So if you got a thick story and we feel like it's a good story, you may do a Thursday with Sean. You never know. Who knows? So if you don't know what Thursdays with Sean is, I used to do Thursdays with Sean where I would bring somebody that had a crazy story, like just crazy story. I brought Peter on for his story. His story is like, right? So I interview you, and you give some good answers, and we have some fun. So if you're into that stuff and you feel like you got a good story, don't send it here. Send it to my chat, so we'll talk about it, and then we'll decide. Anyway, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Hey, if you know somebody who's got a story and you're like nudging them to, hey, you should talk. Tag him to this, share this on your wall, do what you gotta do, spread the love. And if you're celebrating, happy Nowruz, happy Persian New Year. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.